Okay, welcome to the AGM. At the outset, I want to begin the presentation with a land acknowledgement. We all ride our bike. None of the Coast Salish people's rights were relinquished by treaty or by agreement. No rights were extinguished, to use the colonial common law term, by abandonment or acquiescence. None of the First Nations on this land were conquered by war, as if that would itself be some moral justification. Our governments, local, provincial, and federal, imposed a foreign concept of title and ownership over these mountains that deprives the original peoples of control over their own home. Bluntly put, unceded territory means stolen land. We're at a stage where these acknowledgements aren't needed to establish that truth. We know it to be true. At the very least, it's incumbent upon us who derive such great pleasure from Cyprus, Seymour, and Frome to at least struggle with the complex and uncomfortable reality that these trails are not yours or mine, and we can't take them for granted. So we encourage you, and we at the Nsmba encourage each other to learn more about the histories and the languages and the cultures of the Musqueam, Squamish, and Tsleil-Waututh First Nations and how this land was used by them in the past, so that we can have an even greater appreciation for the time that we spend in these mountains. So welcome. It is, my watch is pretty slow, but it looks like it's about 12 minutes after 7, so we'll call the meeting to order at that time. This AGM is the principal opportunity for the Nsmba to recap what the association has accomplished during the past year. It's an opportunity for us to interact with our members and eventually to answer some of your questions and for the floor to be turned over to you for your own comments and suggestions. So the AGM agenda for tonight is familiar in structure and topics from the previous years, if any of you have attended them in the past. I'm going to just review the rules of order and then we'll return for a motion to adopt the agenda. So we're following Robert's Rules of Order. I'm no expert on this, so please no one challenge me. We're going to deal with some usual business. We do have a special resolution that I expect most of you are aware of from our promotion of it, which we're going to use to bring the Nsmba into the 21st century. We're going to have our election, and then we have a Q&A at the end. With respect to the Q&A, we're going to try and limit the questions just in time so that we can hear from more people than less. And if there is anything that we aren't able to address tonight, then we can do that via email or in a future forum. We will be having another town hall meeting sometime in the spring. The longer the question answer takes, the less time there is to drink beer at the end. So keep that in mind. The agenda, you've seen it. It's been promoted on our social media and on our website. I'm not going to read it out to all of you now, but as the first official order of business at the meeting, I am looking for a motion to adopt the agenda for this evening. I see Stephen making that motion. Can we get a second? Mr. Bond in the back seconds the motion. Any objections to adopting the agenda? I see nothing. Any abstentions? Hearing nothing, the motion passes. We've adopted this agenda for the evening. The second official item of business is to approve the minutes for the 2021 AGM from last year. Likewise, this has been on our website. Hopefully at least a few of you in the front row can read the very small writing. I'm going to pause for a moment, and I need to speak into the microphone. Thank you. Can't just yell like usual. So take a gander. Moving forward. Okay. I'm now looking for another motion to adopt the 2021 AGM minutes. Rob, thank you. And second, why did I just call you Rob? Brent, Brent Hillier. Second came from somewhere over here. Ken Coupland. Digger. All right, Digger is adopting or is seconding. Any objections to adopting and approving the minutes from 2021? Seeing nothing and hearing nothing. Any abstentions? Likewise, the minutes are approved. So, President's message, that's me. Hi. Hi, I shouldn't have done this maybe sooner. My name is James Nadell. I've been with the Nsmba for 2 years. I find it hard to believe that I'm standing here in front of all of you now as the President of the Board of Directors because I've only lived in North Vancouver for 3 years. I try to approach the work that I've done on the board with humility for that reason in particular, and with a willingness to learn from everyone because I have to. Fortunately, there are lots of people and who know lots of things about the shore, and they like to share it. So the goals for this message that I have are to avoid doing two things that often happen when I'm tasked to speak in public. The first is to avoid pedantic or elaborate metaphors or grand abstract themes to make whatever I'm talking about sound profound. And the second is to avoid excessive swearing. We do have some families here, and I'll do my best, but I'm sorry if I F up any of those things. Okay, the real message that I want to talk about for a few minutes are of two portions. The first is ambition and gratitude. So we live in a time of incredible change and learning right now. We have a relatively new board of directors, and we have new roles for these directors as we have moved from a working board, and I say we as the Nsmba collectively because this organization is in its now 25th year. We've moved from a working board where all of our predecessors did everything on their own, and we're fortunate now to be in a position that is stable and to have staff and a really supportive community. And so we have transitioned to a governing board that is advisory and strategic in nature and will, what is going on here? Still here, my apologies. Oh, I need to bring the cursor over here. Thanks, guys, for the indulgence. So we're now a governing board, and we're trying to find a balance between assisting our staff without interfering with their operations as they try and seize the opportunity that we have now to professionalize the Nsmba and structure it and implement processes that will make us a more effective and efficient organization. We have new possibilities now that the restrictions that have inhibited our work have been lifted and then reinstated and then eased and then tightened. Basically, this was the first time that we've been able to run a mostly regular season, at least while the present board has been in place. And so when I say ambition, it is now incumbent upon us to take the opportunities that we have to do more for our community. The next message that I want to discuss is gratitude. So we're grateful for the past work that the builders and riders and advocates have done to create and protect these trails such that anyone can enjoy them. The first time that I was on Frome, I stopped at the trail map by the gate and saw the web of blue and red and black and looked around and was wondering who I had to pay. I was just stupefied that no one was there to take my money. I'm grateful for all the people who continue to build and maintain these trails. Naturally, the builders, many of whom are in the room with us tonight, but also the local businesses and their employees and the community members who donate their time and money to help those builders realize their visions for their trails. I'm grateful to all of you who have taken the time out of your evening to be here with us tonight. Everyone here has something else they could be doing right now, but you've all A, bought memberships to support us, and B, chosen to participate in the governance and administration of your local community association. There are thousands of people who ride the shore every week, but you are all the ones who showed up tonight. And I'm grateful, finally, for the people of this association itself who donate so much of their time to protect these trails for the present and future community. And that's where I want to spend most of the time that I have allotted tonight, is to introduce our volunteers and our staff to you. Cooper Quinn, this guy's been around for so long that after taking over the role of president, I literally had to introduce myself as the new Cooper for months. Cooper stubbornly resisted my attempts to extract from him a summary of his proudest achievements, and to the extent that he was involved in any positive chain, all that I was able to extract from him was an insistence that he was merely a single contributor amidst many hard-working peers. That being said, a great deal has occurred with the Nsmba during his time here. There's been a massive growth in membership and revenue, which has brought real stability to the association. It was only during his first year as president, that the Nsmba actually proposed and adopted an annual operating agenda. Hitherto, it was hand to mouth. The Frome maintenance agreement was refined, which eased the administrative burdens on the Nsmba, and the subsequent hundred thousands of dollars that has been incorporated into the District of North Vancouver's budget is now an annual and consistent, dependable form of funding that we do not need to fight for on a yearly basis anymore. He assisted in saving the shore's teeter-totters from the brink of foolhardy demise. The construction of the Empress Bypass AMTB loop occurred under his watch and Christine Reed's. Sanctioning of trails on Cyprus, establishing strong, enduring relationships with our sponsors, and the Trails for All aspect of our vision. He's been a stalwart member of the mountain biking community. He's left me some mighty big shoes to fill, at least if I happen to be reelected tonight. And he will be sorely missed within the association. So if we could just give a round of applause for Cooper. Attaboy. Vanessa Lebrun is present tonight. She acted as our secretary for the past 2 years, diligently and enthusiastically recording our board meeting minutes, which is a somewhat tedious task, but a necessary one. And all the while doing so, made savvy contributions to our discussions. She works within the cycling industry and has marshaled substantial support from the local industry to support our events. She got the ball rolling with the Fivers again this year after a 2-year hiatus by organizing sponsors, helping tape the courses, administering the check-ins and acting as a marshal on the courses, and organizing the giant après, and has been an enthusiastic and selfless contributor. So thanks, Vanessa. I hadn't planned on anybody clapping in between these things. There's a whole lot more to get through, but I'm sure Vanessa appreciates it. Okay, Brent has been a builder since 2012. He's relinquishing his official role as a director here after 4 years of serving on the board. He's provided substantial experience on the practical aspects of trail building and community organizing within the Nsmba. We're thrilled that he's going to continue to volunteer his time as the Youth Trail Day liaison, where he advises that he will continue his endless search for the next digger by getting hundreds of kids out on trail days each year. And we wish him all the best of success in that. Colin Brummel is another one of our present directors. He's seeking re-election tonight. He's not here because he's sick. He brings an entrepreneurial approach and skilled practical assistance with our IT and website issues. He's got a graphic design and video editing background that has helped with our marketing content, and also brings a thoughtful and rational approach to complicated issues during our board meetings. Similarly to Brent, Isabelle DeGuise, after 4 years on the board, is shifting her focus away from the internal guidance of the Nsmba and to working more directly on the trails. She is now a builder on Ridge Runner and Bottletop, and for years was the director of advocacy, and she's proud to leave a legacy of improved relationships with land managers and their reinvigorated interest in improving the trail networks. When Isabel started with the NSMBA, the funding that we're seeing from places like Metro Vancouver would have seemed far-fetched, and she's a shrewd and insightful volunteer, and we're going to miss her at our meetings as well. Jackie Hicks stepped down recently after nearly 2 years on the board. She helped brainstorm event ideas, orchestrating the Social Badger. She put a lot of effort into the Fivers this year, with Vanessa learning how to operate the timing systems and running the Fivers and the women's Fivers. Stephen Bourne, it's his first year on the board. He just wrapped it up. His experience as an employment and labor lawyer has proved invaluable in his short time with us. He's provided us with guidance and support on numerous HR issues and has greatly helped increase our efficiency within the organization. He's also a former WORCA board member, and so he's brought us some fresh perspectives from our peers up the corridor. And he's looking forward to assisting with advocacy and land manager relations, and also assisting with events in the upcoming year. Rob Donovan rounded out his first year on the board, but he's been involved with the shore as a builder for years on Lower Oil Can, Middle and Upper Griffin, and the Baden-Powell. Brings a positive spirit to all of our events and group rides and trail days that he's supported, and is looking forward to doing more of the same next year. Ben Organ, you would have seen at the front, helping check you in. He's made numerous contributions in the past 3 years on the board, principally improving our membership management system, including the new auto-renew option. Hint, hint, turn it on, save yourself some grief, and stay on board with us. He's also done a lot of coordinating with help from Deanne and staff and volunteers for trail building, and the riding skills program with the school at the Tsleil-Waututh First Nation. He's been the strongest advocate within our organization for decolonization and developing the NSMBA's relationships with the local First Nations, and deserves a great deal of commendation for that. Ken Kuplin is stepping down after 3 years on the board to focus his attention on other aspects of his life. He has always been an independent and enthusiastic and ambitious person who conceptualized and constructed our annual raffles, and has raised substantial funds for the NSMBA single-handedly, well, not single-handedly, with lots of support from a few very hardworking hands. Countless hours. He's been an engine of growth for our financial resilience objective of our strategic plan. Finance team, you'll hear more from Kat tonight, but has been our treasurer since 2020. Analytical, diligent, reliable, with minute fiscal transactions and broad strategic directions on the board. Contributes a substantial amount of time and advice to myriad discussions, because whatever we are doing, it has to do with money, whether it's coming in or going out. And she'll say a little bit more about James Brooks later, as a long-standing volunteer who oversees our day-to-day accounting operations. And finally, moving on to some staff, not so finally, there are more people to talk about. Deanne, you're going to hear from her a great deal this evening, so I'll try and be brief. Basically, she does everything. And truly runs the entire association, whether it's the overall strategic direction of the organization, managing staff, meeting with land managers, reviewing contracts, writing grants, obtaining insurance, volunteering herself on the trail days, and liaising with stakeholders. Christine Reed left, like Cooper, some very big shoes to fill, and Deanne's just doing a marvelous job, and we're all very lucky to have her here. Stephanie Taylor and Ryan Pugh are our administrators. They're the first point of contact with everyone, whether it's internal or external, whether it's a sponsor or just a member of the community, answering emails, updating the website, checking people in at events, such as now, managing merch, coordinating with sponsors. They're the best support that our association could ask for. And the marketing team is now made up of Andrea McFarlane and Rajiv Dhaliwal. They are our content and marketing dream team. Andrea is now in the role of marketing manager and has been responsible for turning Ken Kuplin's crazy raffle ideas into a professional raffle campaign. She has revamped our monthly newsletters. Designing and executing various social media campaigns is invaluable, and started off not so long ago as just a Canada Summer Jobs student with us. And likewise, Rajiv came through the same program and is now our staff content creator, working with Andrea, taking photographs at all of our events and executing communication strategies. He's the man behind the lens that you will have no doubt seen hiding behind trees, getting those beautiful photos and videos. And last but not least, for our crew, we've got the trails team, someone that you may or may not heard about, a guy named Todd Fiander. Yeah, all right. The man needs no introduction, the nicest, most approachable legend you will ever meet. He is a wealth of history and knowledge. Just last week, there was a community trail day on Espresso, and Rob Donovan was working it, advised of a family that came out, and a couple kids who had only started mountain biking a few months ago somehow got their hands on tapes of North Shore Extreme, and we're just thrilled to meet Digger, and we're hoping that he might show up, and lo and behold, he arrives on his Lying Cheater e-bike, and they are thrilled. Rob encourages them to go over and say hello, and they do, and come back with a selfie, and are stoked to come out for more trail days. So that's exactly how our community supports itself and operates, and we're so thrilled to have this guy still around and working with us and moving us along. Sarah McLeod wears two hats as our trail crew lead and as our new trail director, which is a role that we've just implemented. She's out there slinging dirt, managing and directing the trail crew to do the critical work that keeps our trails running safely. But she's now also at every meeting with our land managers, planning out trail crew projects in an organized fashion, planning and overseeing larger projects, drafting our monthly trail crew updates to show everyone just what is happening on the shore. And then we have Marcus Van Heist and Thomas Slack, Joe Iwitka and Bishop Carasquero, who are our Johnnies on the spot, moving all the dirt and the rocks and the wood. Special thanks to Joe, who is our prior trail crew lead, who came out and helped out again this season, and also to Bishop, likewise, who was a previous summer student and is assisting on the crew this fall and spring. And you just need to skim through some of the trail crew updates, and you'll see the amazing work that they've done, even over the drive months when it was nearly impossible to build. And finally, just a few special shout-outs here. Maya Clavena and Brian Earl. Brian is a former director and the founder of the Fivers with the Nsmba, persuaded the organization to buy the timing equipment in the first place when there was some resistance to doing so. Single-handedly organized the Fivers, those two, for years in the past, and even this season spent a substantial amount of time both developing the courses and teaching our own staff and directors how to use the equipment, run the series, debriefed with us afterwards about how to improve for next year, volunteering at each event, and Maya especially coordinating all of the volunteers. So they have done a substantial job for us. Steve Leonis ran for the board last year. He wasn't elected, but immediately reached out to us anyway and asked if he could contribute his time and wealth of experience in marketing and business development, and he played a substantial role helping Ken and Andrea bring our raffle to success and helped mentor our staff as well. Steve Tan volunteered hours of expertise and experience behind the lens shooting photo and video for our raffle. He and his partner Megan run Tandem Photography. They're both here tonight. If you need any work, go to them. They are fabulous and lovely people. And lastly, I want to thank all the directors and candidates who have applied to be on the board tonight. They've all stepped up to serve their community and deserve their commendation, irrespective of whatever the outcome is this evening. And last but not least, can we get like a standing ovation here for all the builders in the room tonight? For real. Yeah. Hell yeah. Yeah! Off the trail, the builders are writing work plans, they are doing walkthroughs, they're training themselves, they need first aid, chainsaw certifications, they're coordinating with us to organize their trail days, they are writing work reports, they do a substantial amount of stuff that nobody sees, and that in and of itself is worthy of praise. But they're also out there in all the conditions to help the trails survive the increasingly extreme and erratic weather. They're training and overseeing the volunteers that they get out on their trail days in addition to doing the work by themselves. It takes time away from their own personal work because they're also volunteers. It takes time away from their families, and it takes time away from their riding. They are the people who this association exists to support, and we only try our best to help them realize their visions. So thank you to all the builders on Frome. You see them all here. We want to welcome a few builders, at least back into the Nsmba fold for some. Andy Fisher has been the builder on Crippler for over 10 years. Jacqueline Delacroix is the builder on Executioner, has also been a builder for over a decade, and formerly on other trails on Seymour, such as Pangor and Slash. Ken Bigelow has been on Frome building since the 2000s. He is a mastermind behind Pipeline, and likewise Chris White, Chris Connor, and Dave Bailey are also the Pipeline crew, and they are now under our permits. And all of them have just been slaying it on Frome. And we owe a special thanks and extension of gratitude to Sean Brasil, who has been a builder and is retiring now after a decade on the Baden-Powell and Lower Expresso, which everyone rides all the time, and is the second builder that I was able to help out on a trail day when I first moved here to the mountains, and he had to tape me up when I rolled a rock over my finger and check in on me when I was getting stitches later on, and he's also just a lovely guy. So special thanks to Sean for all the work that you've done over the years, and his partner Sarah is still building up there too. All right, and without any less worthy praise are the Seymour builders. Everybody that you see here, Seymour is probably the busiest mountain on the shore, and everyone pummels their trails, and they keep coming back and making things better. So a special thank you to all of them, and likewise welcome to Mark Rowe, who's the builder on Salvation. And when he joined the Nsmba this year, because the DNV required some insurance, and the independent builders, it would have been impracticable for them to obtain it on their own, too expensive, and so they're using ours now, and so welcome to Mark. And a special welcome to all the Cypress builders, many of whom are in the room tonight. Kevin is running for the board as well. Mark, Ian, Adriano, Henry, and Daniel, these guys have been killing it on the Cypress East Trails especially, and it's just one of the best parts of the mountains out there to ride. So thank you to you guys for everything that you're doing and working with us. It's a new process for us as well, but we're really thankful for everything that you're doing. All right, turning the floor over to Kat.
Hello, welcome. It's crazy to see everyone in real life. I feel like I've been on the board now for 2 years, and I've never been in a room with all of you, so awesome. Thanks for coming out. Before I jump into finances, which I know is your favorite thing to talk about, I just want to say a massive thank you to James Brooks. I don't believe he's here tonight, but he does so much background work that I don't personally want to do, and I literally could not do my job without him. So it's just overwhelming how much work he does and all aspects of it. So massive thank you to you. And we'll jump right in. We'll keep this short and sweet. First slide. I don't know if any of you can read that, but what I'll do is I'll just jump you right to that bottom line and point out the fact that this is our balance sheet, what our cash looks like more or less. And we have a ton of money. So it's awesome. We're sitting at $381,000 at this year end, which is amazing. Last year, if you recall, yeah, thanks to you, yeah. yeah, I don't know, last year on the Zoom call I was sitting here and I was saying, you know, we have 325 grand, that's massive, and I don't expect for that to grow. And I was wrong, and I love to be wrong in that direction. So, yay. To put a little context to that, in 2019, we had $40,000 in the bank. Things were quite tight. Things were a little, you know, we weren't quite sure how the world was going to look. So we really tightened our belts, and we leaned down quite a bit, and we saved up a bunch of money. And now we're sitting at this fantastic spot, which means it gives us a lot of room. It gives us wiggle room for when things go a little sideways or when a big project comes along, we can actually say yes to it. Yeah, it just gives us a ton of room to do what we want to do, which is bring you the trails. The middle line there is just showing you, so revenues over expenses. You'll see this year we only saved, I put in quotations, $13,000, which is fine because the goal of a nonprofit is not to save money. A goal of a nonprofit is to spend money and invest it in what we do, which is the trails, and we are finally in a financial position to do that, which is awesome. So now I'll just jump into what our revenues look like and where they come from. As you can see with this little pie chart here, we have a lot of different revenue sources, and that's really awesome because it means that if one of them were to disappear for one reason or another, we could be fine. We'll survive. We have, like I said, we have room. The biggest one is sitting at that memberships and trail passes, so that's like trail karma and trail boosts, as well as all the memberships. That's 23% of that over $500,000 that we're earning every year. So that's you guys. Thank you. Please continue to be members. Please tell your friends. I know some of mine are here tonight, and I heckle them regularly. I'm like, do you have your membership? Please do the same. It does actually matter. The second one would be that TAP and other sponsorships, and that goes out to all the businesses and individuals who are like earning big money and spending big money for us, on us. Huge thank you to that. That makes up 19%. And then the other big chunk in there is the DNB at 16. And we get about 100 grand from them every year, which is also amazing. So yeah, those are our three big kind of chunks. And then I'll just skip to the next slide, which again, I don't know if you can read that, but it gives you like an overview of what's going on. The top section is more or less what I just went through, which shows we're stable. We're doing the same thing year after year, and we're getting a good result. The one revenue line item I'll point to is that Ken made us $80,000 in our raffle this year, which is amazing. Thank you to that, yes. Yeah, pretty insane that came out of like one person's ideas and then a handful of people's like pedal to the metal energy. So thank you. It's pretty cool to see that we're not only sitting steady, but continuing to grow these ideas. The last section I'll just touch on is our expenses, because where does the money go? You're wondering, like we earn a ton of money and you only have $13,000 at year end. Where is it spent? People. So James did a great job of outlining who exists in our network, and it's a big group of people, and people are, you know, what make it possible. Without the people, we can't get the dirt in the ground. So 80% of our money is going towards those people, and we will continue with that trajectory. It's the most important piece of our puzzle. And then the next line underneath that is just our operating expenses. Over half of that is our insurance. That's just going to continue to creep up because that's how insurance works. And then the bottom line, which we haven't included before because there's been no money in it, is expenses. But we spent 24 grand this year on our events, and then we earned 86. So it's a really good show of the fact that we're now in a place where we can invest money to earn money. Whereas before we were kind of saving money to make sure that we had a comfortable spot to sit in if something were to happen, which COVID happened. So yeah, that went well for us. But here we are with real money in the bank, and we're spending it and we're reinvesting it into you guys because we want to continue to do this for you. And that makes my job really easy. So I'm able to sit here and say, hey, we have lots of money, but please continue to donate because we want to continue to invest in the trails, and so on and so forth. And that's all I have. I will pass it over to Deanne.
Oh yeah, it's my turn. Okay, I get to talk about all the other fun stuff that's been going on in the background. So memberships. Memberships, as Kat was alluding to, and Trail Boost still account for about 20% of our annual funding. Memberships did bring in over $100,000 of funding to the organization this past year. In 2022, we did see a slight decline in our total membership numbers, but we're not worried. This is being attributed to a bunch of different factors. We know with the staff turnover this year, our communication wasn't the best. So we weren't communicating with our membership what was going on, and I think we've lost some people because of that. We also had a bit of a backlog with our membership mailouts. We apologize for that. We were down to like 2 staff members in the office, and it was a lot for us to keep up with. We have caught up on all of that now, though, so everybody should have received their membership stickers this year. And moving forward, we're going to be back on our regular schedule. And the other thing is, well, inflation. It happened. We did a lot of membership exit surveys, and the feedback that we did receive from people was that either they've moved away, they've had to move to different parts of the country outside of the area, and so aren't renewing their memberships, which is fair. Or due to budget constraints, they just weren't able to contribute this year. So, okay, we get that. It's totally fine. The good news is that this year we are fully staffed, we're up and running, we've got our systems in place, and we have a plan for attracting new members, and a plan to keep those who keep forgetting to renew their memberships, What we did see, though, was that our trail boosts increased 35% this year. So while we had a slight decline in our memberships, more people were donating in different ways. So 820 donations versus about 615 last year means that we made about $3,000 more than last year just in our trail boost. So we're trying to activate those people who are out there riding, who may not be, you know, from out of town or whatever. We're trying to get them to donate to the trails as well. So we are going to be looking at how we can increase that. So our goal for 2023 is to hit 5,000 members. It may seem like a really big and ambitious goal, but so was raffling off 3 bikes in 2022, and that was hugely successful. So how are we going to meet this goal? Well, we're going to break it down. We're looking at bringing on 1,300 new members. If we reactivate 75% of our current lapsed membership, that's going to hit our 5,000 member mark. So you're going to be seeing a lot more messaging and incentives for people to join the Nsmba. We're going to be engaging more at community events and getting our message out on way more platforms. We're also going to be reviewing our membership offerings to see how we can improve and add value. And since we've already seen a large increase in Trail Boost, we're also hoping to capture more of the folks who visit the shore and have them give back to us as well. So by making these adjustments, by setting these goals in these few areas, implementing these targeted promotions, we could see a potential funding boost of $150,000 next year if we meet our targets. So we're going to be looking at our current members. We're going to hopefully you guys can engage with your friends as well so that we can keep this ball rolling and really hit our targets for next year. Speaking on advocacy, like ducks gliding on the water, so much has been happening under the surface. Our team has been working nonstop this past year advocating for mountain biking on the shore. So here's a few of the things that we've been doing. 2022 was an absolutely exceptional year for our land manager relationships. Just like with our organization, there was also a large turnover of staff within the municipalities and governing agencies. With the changeover came a lot of new perspectives, the opportunities to revisit old conversations and projects, and shared enthusiasm to get things done. We now meet with our land managers on a monthly basis to ensure that communication is consistent, and we're addressing matters on a more regular basis instead of only when an issue or a problem arises. This has created more positive, open, and constructive conversations with all of our land managers. With the District of North Vancouver this year, we did re-sign a new 2-year maintenance agreement on Frome with the continued funding in place. Seymour Trails are now under a similar kind of batch agreement, so not singular permits as it was previously done, which helps to speed up the process. DNV dusted off the Frome Mountain Sustainable Trail Use and Classification Plan from 2007, acknowledged that they acted on a lot of the recommendations of decommissioning trails, but which has led now to unsanctioned trails having proliferated as a result. So currently, the other thing that's happening with the district in North Vancouver, we're in phase 2 of a total of 4 phases in the Natural Area Trails Strategy, which is helping to guide planning and management of the recreational trails on all of the district and North End land. The district was super excited. They had the best response rate ever during the initial phase of consultations with the public. You probably saw those signs up on, a lot of the parking lots laying like, do our survey. So they're really happy with the results. So a lot of you did write in and voice, what you want to see on district lands, which is fantastic. That helps to back up what we've been saying to them. The Nsmba, we also attended stakeholder meetings, both public and private, with the district in North End to share our specific needs and input, and we'll continue to advocate for mountain bikers as the process continues. And then finally, of course, we did some engagement with the municipal election with the candidates, trying to bring some information to our members as to who to vote. Well, it didn't turn out how we'd hoped. We have hope for the future. So get out there and vote, people. The District of West Vancouver. Lots going on over in Westerland over there. We continue to work really closely with District of West Van staff on the new climb trail on Cypress East. The project is progressing. There's a myriad of details that we still need to consider and we need to address so that everybody is comfortable and confident going into the construction phase. So that project is progressing as we'd hoped. And just as a reminder, it took our good friend Alan Bardsley, who is here tonight, 15 years of advocacy just to get us to this point. So we don't want to rush into this project unless we have everything ready to go so that we don't blow it up and then Alan hates us forever. We also want to make sure that we're taking a prudent and thorough approach with this project because its success is going to affect the District of West Van's subsequent engagement with future trail development in the area. Along those lines, we've also attended stakeholder meetings with British Pacific Properties on their future Cypress Village development, advocating for broader systems planning to account for the influx of users that are going to be going out to West Vancouver, as well as accommodation of pre-existing trails. What some people may not know is that British Pacific Properties has set aside $500,000 for new mountain bike trail development once Cypress East Village is completed. So that is a big chunk of change. We will be losing some trails. So that's a huge win. We can't touch that money just yet, but it's waiting for us when it's time. So that's huge. That's huge. Rec Sites and Trails BC, CMHC lands on Seymour, is currently undergoing the Recreation Area Management Plan. So the CMHC the trails in that area were developed without planning or authorization and are largely unregulated. The ramp is there to take more of a cohesive strategic approach to developing that section of the network. We've been in multiple meetings with Rec Sites and Trails BC and Lees and Associates, who's actually drafting the report, to review their and provide feedback and advocate for various changes within the management plan. We reviewed the primary uses and users on the trails, where to add trail maps and kiosks, like those gathering points, and potential of creating some much needed links within the network. That management plan is still under First Nations consultation right now, so we haven't seen any additional drafts. And I know we've heard a lot of feedback, especially within our annual survey, which was also very well responded to, thank you very much, especially around signage on Mount Seymour, and we know that it's needed out there. It is being addressed in this management plan, but until the new agreement with Rec Sites and Trails BC is in place and the ramp is completed, we can't really do much about it. So once that's in place, we got the green light, there's going to be signage out there. So it's coming. I know it's much needed. Finally, and definitely not least, Metro Vancouver, the Lower Seymour Conservation Reserve, there's been a lot of work going on the trails there. There's been regular check-ins regarding a lot of these ongoing projects, such as CBC, the reopening of CBC, the overhaul that's going on Ned's atomic dustbin. We've been in contact with them, like how things are going as the projects are progressing. We just wanted to clarify something, because this was, again, within our annual surveys, there was some confusion about this. So Metro Vancouver, they hire Nsmba Canada and Lees to do trail prescriptions for the trails on their lands. Larger projects such as CBC and Ned's exceeded a specific threshold, and that required Metro Van to hold a tender process. And then Metro Van selected that contractor to do the work. So just to clarify, the Nsmba, we're not responsible for those projects, and we are not funding those projects. That is being paid for through Metro. However, once the warranty on the work has passed, it's usually about a year after the trail has been completed, those trails are being brought back into Nsmba fold. So we will be responsible for the maintenance on those trails going forward after that warranty is up. So, yeah. So we've been a little busy behind the scenes. So I am going to switch it over to Sarah, who's going to talk more about the actual work that's been happening on the trails.
Okay, awesome. Hi, everyone. Here to speak about the trails. I should warn you guys, public speaking, not my forte, so currently just picturing everyone wearing their chamois, so. Except for Digger, because I do have to go to work with him tomorrow, and I want to be able to look him in the eye. So I just wanted to start off talking about our TAP program. As we saw in our financials earlier, TAP brings in a large portion of our revenue. And so over the past year, we've gotten $108,000 from 28 adopters over 29 trails. So huge amount of support coming from them. So I want to take just a minute to thank all those sponsors that showed up this year, both new and returning. So thank you for continuing to support the trails through trail work and through sponsorship. Yeah, we wouldn't be able to do what we do without them, so. On to the fun stuff. So our trail updates from the past year. This is obviously not an exhaustive list of all the work that's been done. And I would love to tell you about every single bucket of dirt that's been thrown on our trails, but I'd be up here for hours and we don't want that. So just keep it to the highlights. But I do want to acknowledge and say how much we appreciate all the work put on by the builders this year. They do a lot, and our trail network would not be where it is today without them. So just starting over on Seymour, I gave this update last year, and I have to give it again because Martin is continuing to kill it up on Cabin Trail. Tons of new great work going on up there, so definitely check it out. All right, like Jimmy, I didn't anticipate everyone clapping after everyone, so just try and get through them. Over on Pingu, like we said, our previous crew lead, Joe, came back to help us with some rock armoring and cribbing on the fall line. There wasn't much else we could do during that drought, so the crew has been moving so many heavy rocks. So if you do see them out on the trails, give them a high five or the number of your favorite physiotherapist. The builders over on Slash, Dave and Owen, brought us a proposal for a new wood feature over there, and they were able to execute that build this summer. Boogie Nights, of course, was closed over the winter last year, but after a ton of hard work from the guys over there, it reopened in the spring with a fresh new rebuild. So on Frome, the crew has been super hard at work over there. We rebuilt an old drop on Natural High using the original landing. We did a top-to-bottom revamp of Kirkford, and we did 3 bridge rebuilds on Ladies Only and Big Stupid, including the ring. Boundary, ton of work, once again, lots of big, heavy rocks, more back pain, but some very cool woodwork between the roots of that Doug fir you can see in the picture. Super fun. Before I move on from film, I do have to say I woke up in a cold sweat this morning realizing that I completely forgot to list pipeline, and I'm so sorry. My apologies. But I have to give a major kudos to the builders on pipeline. This few weeks ago, they finished their 165-foot wood feature, so. Yeah, definitely go check it out. It looks very sweet. And finally, over on Cypress, the builders on Cypress have been putting in a ton of work over the past year since the trails have joined our sanctioned trail network. So much maintenance has gone on over on Morgies, Jersey Shore, and Meat Sweats. Just a couple of things to highlight there. Big reroute on Morgies, and also a smaller one on Jersey Shore, just to bypass a fall line section with some sweet new berms. So just taking a look at our trail volunteer stats, they're looking really good this year. We're so excited to report that our volunteer numbers are back to where they were pre-pandemic. So it's been really great to see the community getting to come back out and build together. One highlight to note here is that nearly half of our total volunteers were youth. So we're so happy to see more kids are able to come out and give back to the trails in their community. The return of Work Wednesdays this year was a super exciting contributing factor to us reaching a total of over 72 trail days. So thank you so much to all the volunteers that came out, donated their time and their muscles to help us make sure that the trails are running the best that they possibly can. So just looking ahead up to 2023, any upcoming trail work that we have planned here. We're currently in a bit of more of a planning phase on a few different exciting projects, so I unfortunately can't give you those updates yet, but they will be coming soon, so please subscribe to our newsletter and keep an eye on our social medias because we'll let you know as soon as we can. In the meantime, we're mostly planning maintenance on Frome and Cypress and Seymour. Tons of work to do after all this crazy weather we've had over the last 6 months, so keen to get back out there once the moisture soaks all the way into the dirt, which it still hasn't, believe it or not. And then a couple projects over on Seymour. We're really looking forward to getting started with work on Cambodia, just waiting for some hazard trees to be removed, but it is going to be joining the sanctioned trail network, so we're going to be, yeah. So stay tuned for that. Super exciting, and there will be trail day opportunities. So if you've ever wanted to throw dirt on Cambodia, now's a chance. And for Spy Pass, we're hoping to get a machine revamp of that trail in the new year. So keep an eye out for that as well. The berms will be fresh. On the topic of more public trail days, we'll be adding more to our calendar this year. So again, stay tuned for those opportunities to give back to the trails you know and love. That's it for me. Thank you guys.
Hi, it's me again. Okay, so quickly into events. So 2022, we saw the return of the Fivers for the first time in 2 years, and it was so exciting. It was amazing to see the bikes lined up, conversations being had, the après parties being enjoyed. In the spring, Fiver creator Brian handed over his beloved event to the board of directors, and under the guidance of Brian and Maya for the 22 Fiver season, it was a learning experience for everybody who was involved, whether it was staff or directors and the volunteers. So again, thanks to Jackie and Vanessa, who really took on all of the planning at a really last minute. A massive thanks to our sponsors for coming on board, some at the very last minute, like literally the last minute. and opening your doors to large groups of riders. We couldn't have done it without the event volunteers who were out on the course, who were sweeping for the last riders, ensuring the safety of the people who were out there. And thank you to everybody who came out and participated, and for all of the feedback we received over the season. And a special thanks to Rajiv and Jimmy, and I know there was a few other people too who were out there capturing photos of people out on the trails riding. I think that just added like so much to the event, to people, see themselves riding during the events. Despite a few minor hiccups along the way and only one wet weather delay, thankfully, the 2022 Fiver season was super fun, and it was a huge success. So the future Fivers. So what's happening for next year? We did have a debrief meeting with everybody who was involved in 2022. We threw around a bunch of ideas. We considered a lot of the community feedback that we received as well. So 2023, there'll be a couple of new events, like a Learn to Fiver event, something for people to try it out before they actually come out to an actual event. Something super low key. We'll be bringing back the youth Fivers again, and some more friendly events for anybody who's new to the sport or who wants to come out and try, the community Fiver events for, people who want a little bit more chill experience. So we will be obviously launching more details about this as we go through the planning sessions. Other events, we have a lot on the go these days. So we wish we could take every single great idea that we receive from our members and from the public. We're considering our capacity for the next year, so stay tuned. If we feel like we can take on more than just Fivers, we will absolutely do it, but we don't want to overpromise and then underdeliver. With that being said, it's our 25th anniversary this year. And I found this out, I was digging through some files, looking at bylaws and all kinds of stuff, and I'm like, holy crap, it's reincorporated in 1998. Like, this is huge. It's a good thing I found those papers. So we're obviously, we know that the trails have been around longer, the community's been around longer. Lady celebrated its 30th anniversary this year, which is amazing. So stay tuned. We're gonna work on organizing a super fun event and merchandise and everything around our 25th year. We've come a long way in the 25 years, and all of the hard work and dedication of volunteers since inception of the Nsmba is going to be celebrated. So looking forward to that. Moving right along into strategic plan. We're doing pretty good here. I'll go through this pretty quick. So we officially released our strategic plan at the end of June, but the work started long before we had that nice shiny copy of the document in our hands. The strategic plan is here to help support and instruct the board and the staff in their ongoing work over the next 5 years. So I guess 4.5 years now, because we're partway through. It is what helps to guide our decisions and actions on our daily basis and ensure that the work that we're doing is in alignment with our vision. It has already helped to focus our energy and capacity to projects that are really going to make a difference. So I'm going to give you just a quick update about what we've been able to accomplish so far this year. The priority of responsible land use reflects the work to lead advocacy efforts, build community partnerships, and education to help expand our reach beyond just our mountain biking community. In 2022, we helped host a gathering of community partners on Seymour through our Seymour Trails Liaison. It was our second official meeting. I think the first was actually pre-pandemic. This brought together 10 unique community groups and the land managers and provided an opportunity to update and educate everybody on what everybody else was doing. The Nsmba has also been attending the Cypress Liaison group meetings, which is held twice annually by the District of West Van. So it's just our way of connecting to the community groups where our trails exist. We've started some of our community education outreach. You've probably seen, Drain the Rain, some stuff on, wet weather riding, our shore sessions, videos that have been coming out. This is all to help educate our members and trail users and bring awareness to the work that we're doing and, some knowledge around some of these hot topics. This is just the start of our education campaigns, so expect to see more of this going into 2023. Late last year, we were able to get connected with the Tsleil-Waututh Nation School, and specifically with our outdoor education teacher through a whole flurry of emails. It was crazy. And after discussions with her, we were able to organize and provide a pilot program to the grade 8 to 12 students in partnership with Endless Biking. The students got some hands-on trail building sessions, led by Brent, and they helped to improve a community trail down to a popular spot near a creek. And Endless was able to provide the gear and the lessons to the students to teach them to ride on trails. And for one student in particular, it was the first time they learned how to ride a bike in their life. And it was an incredible experience. So we were able to provide this programming free of charge to the students, and we've applied for a grant this year to be able to provide expanded programming to the students again in 2023. So fingers crossed, we get it. So. Our priority around community impact is really to be able to attract and retain a diverse group of people, builders, staff, board, volunteers to help achieve our Trails for All vision. We have a lot of work to do in this area. This year, we focused in on our people, and specifically our staff. With our team growing, it was time to review and implement all of the required things that employers need. We formalized employee contracts, job descriptions. We spent time creating an HR manual, our occupational health and safety manual. We now have a process and timeline for employee evaluations. We've reviewed onboarding processes and so much more. We wanted to ensure that we were attracting and retaining the talented staff that we've been able to find. We also spent time creating, our Join the Board document, which is going to live on our website year-round to help communicate the organization's needs and attract specific talents onto our board and help support the work we're doing. While this may not be the sexy work like building berms, it is super important work. So I know, it's really boring. I know a lot more about HR than I ever thought I would ever know. Yeah. It can be, for sure. Our priority priority around financial resilience, securing sustainable funding, and planning ways to fund growth to ensure we achieve our Trails Forever is always top of mind. This year, our marketing team, with the help from our volunteer Steve Leon, has worked diligently on creating a strategy to engage with our membership and to hit our target of 5,000 members in 2023. The events team and staff also began the creation of our Events with Purpose guidelines to ensure that our events are inclusive. This also ties back to our community impact and are a source of income and not to drain our resources. So we've been doing lots of work around that too. What's next for 2023? We've gotten off to an excellent start and continue with our planning into next year. A few things we currently have on deck are further decolonization education for our board of directors and staff to ensure we're working and engaging in a good way with our local First Nations. Trail Academy has been marked as a priority for this year, so we're going to start to dive into that a lot more. And the final 2 points listed here, the Trails for All assessment tool and our financial resilience plans. These plans are taking shape right now, and I wish I could have shared. It's super exciting. I'm like so ecstatic about what's going to happen in January, but I can't divulge that at this point, so stay tuned. Work is going to be done around these 2 priorities starting in January, and I will have a lot more to report back on this at our town hall check-in around mid-year. That's it for strategic plan. So now we're into the fun stuff, getting down to business.
All right, folks, so we're going to start with a variation on a theme, looking for motions and such. So this is the text of our special resolution. I hope most of you are aware of why we're all here in person today and we're not doing a joint virtual AGM. We know in these times that the future is unpredictable, and it is 2022, and we should be able to participate electronically as well for other people who aren't able to be here in person. And so when we were considering that, we realized that we were restricted by our own bylaws. And as I hope everyone has appreciated here tonight, this is an organization that is striving to be structured and actually do things properly so that we are sustainable in our actions. So this is a special resolution that is designed to remove a specific bylaw which prohibits electronic participation and voting. And the text of it reads, North Shore Mountain Bike Association, in brackets, the Society special resolution of the members to approve at a general meeting of the members. I'm sorry, actually. Whereas, A, in conjunction with filing the annual society's filing, the society desires to alter its bylaws pursuant to Section 17 of the Societies Act, Statutes of British Columbia 2015, Chapter 18, brackets, the Act, to provide greater flexibility in voting and participation at general meetings. Be it resolved as a special resolution that, 1, pursuant to Section 17 of the Act, the bylaws are hereby amended by deleting in its entirety Bylaw 3.19, no electronic participation or voting in general meetings. 2, any director of the society is hereby authorized and directed to file the amended bylaws with the registrar pursuant to Section 17 of the Act. 3, any director of the society is hereby authorized and directed on behalf of the society to do such further acts and things as may be necessary and desirable to carry out this resolution. Sorry. Okay, so the process here, we need to consider the motion, and in order to do that, we need a motion. So can we have someone move? You, sir, what is your name? Alex. Alex moves to vote on this special resolution. Second, can I have a second? Brent, again, seconds the motion. And we may have a debate now, should anyone wish to debate this. Hearing nothing, seeing nothing, there is no debate. I am putting the motion to a vote. The question is on the adoption of the special resolution that it passes. All in favor, by a show of hands, please raise them now. I see many. Lower your hands. Anyone opposed? Oh, your hands are still up, Steve and Megan. Anyone opposed to the motion? Seeing nothing, hearing nothing, any abstentions? The motion passes. We may now vote electronically or participate electronically. Woo-hoo! Thank you. In fact, we may not do, we cannot do so now. We can only do so, the bylaw variation only becomes effective once we file it with the registrar, quote unquote, which is why we had talked about trying to do this at the beginning of the AGM so that we could do it electronically at the meeting, but it was not a practical idea. Okay, so now let us move to the actual business that we're here for, which is the election of new board members. So all of the board members' perspectives have created a pre-recorded video. We will play those for you this evening. Also on our website is a questionnaire for the potential prospective directors. I hope everyone has taken some time to review them. It is amazing the quality and number of candidates that we have running to be on the board this year. And we can only hope that the people who are not elected still desire to assist us as volunteers in the future, because everyone is a worthy candidate who has something unique to offer this organization and the community. So the members will be voted on after the videos are shown by marking the ballots. Everyone should have a ballot from when they checked in. If they do not, visit, please, the staff who will be counting them where you checked in. The board members are elected for a 2-year term, and we have tried in the past to alternate the members such that we don't turn over the entirety of the board in one foul swoop, so that there is some continuity, which is why there are not as many people who are able to be elected in each given year. Roles are assigned by the board to the new directors Afterward, people don't run to be the director of a particular thing like events or advocacy or president. For example, the officers are elected by the board itself, and we do that by discussing people's interests and their special acuities so that people are satisfied with the roles that they will ultimately be fulfilling. So now we're going to show the video. I pray that the technology works. Let's see. Press play all. Uh-oh, hold on. What?
Hey there, my name's Colin Pinnacle. Born and raised in Vancouver, been riding bikes on the shore since rigid forts and cantilever brakes were stylish. I just love having these trails in our own backyard. I mean, look at this! For work, I'm a software engineer and business owner, currently running a small company called Chop Shop that makes video content for people. Before Chop Shop, I worked at Twitter as a software engineer and manager, building the advertising platform. Back in 2000, I was actually on the Nsmba board and built one of the early versions of the website. When I think about what I can bring to this board, as an engineer, I'm good with technology. As a business owner, I understand how to do marketing and sales. I'm good with data analysis. I'm looking for the helpful insights and numbers. And I'm also an investor in a few startups and breweries, and I have a decent network and fundraising experience. I'm just really, really excited to be able to help give back to the community that's given me so much joy over these years. I'd be honored to be part of the Nsmba board.
Oh, hi, I'm Kat Enns. I have my CPA, I ride mountain bikes, and I've been your treasurer for the last 2 years. Please vote for me for re-election. 1, 2, numbers. It's what I do.
Hello everyone, nice to meet you. My name is Anthony Ferrari. I'm 39 years old. I am happily married and have 2 beautiful children, Raphael and Annabelle. I own a construction company based in North Vancouver called Ferrari Construction. My passions are nature, mountain biking, camping, skiing, fishing, anything to do outside pretty much. I also sponsored 2 amazing mountain bike trails in Frome called Bookwith and Ladies Only. Some of you might have heard of them. And I would be honored to join you guys at the board of directors for the North Shore Mountain Bike Association. Thanks for the opportunity, and I'll talk to you guys later. Thanks, bye-bye.
Hi, my name is Hilary Harris, and I would love to serve the community on the Nsmba board for the next 2 years. I'm originally from Wales, hence the funny accent that you hear, but I've been in North Van now for 7 to 8 years, and I've become increasingly active within the community throughout that time. I've been really active with Mud Bunnies for the past 7 years, and I've been a ride lead throughout that time, and I've also been on the board of directors for 4 years, 2 as vice president, 2 as president, which came to an end earlier this year. So now that I have more free time on my hands, I feel like the Nsmba board would be a good natural progression from there. I volunteered for a bunch of the Fivers this year, so some of you may have seen me there, and I go along to some trail days whenever I can. I love to drain the rain, and I don't just mountain bike on the trails, I hike and I dog walk, so the whole Trails for All, Trails Forever ethos really sits well with me. And on my day-to-day adult life, I work in climate science and forest carbon and work a lot with First Nations communities. So yeah, vote for Hilary. Thank you.
Hi, my name is Sam James and I'm running to be on the board of directors for the Nsmba. I've been mountain biking for about the last 15 years, the last 3.5 of which I've been living here on the North Shore. I currently work as the marketing and media coordinator for Steed Cycles and as a mechanic. Part of my job has included running and organising trail days, organising events such as the Fiver after parties. I'm really excited to join the Nsmba board because I feel like we have a really strong mountain biking community here as part of a greater overall cycling community, and I'd really like to get to know it better and to get more involved. As a bike mechanic, I spend a lot of time talking to our customers, the people who are riding the North Shore trails every single day. It gives me a really good chance to listen to and share their feedback and opinions. I feel like my skills and experience in cycling, marketing and media, my contacts within the industry and in the cycling community give me a really unique opportunity to connect people, to create a stronger mountain bike community here on the North Shore, and give me a really good chance to create some great positive change for everybody. I'd be really grateful if you give me a vote. Thanks.
Hello NSMBA members. My name is Kevin Johnstone, and I'm a husband, a father, a trail builder, a mountain biker, and a longtime resident of Vancouver. I would like your vote for the 2023-24 NSMBA Board of Directors, and here's why I believe I deserve it. The NSMBA's most recent big win was the inclusion of 3 trails on Cypress, an area that until recently has been unsanctioned. I've been a key builder in maintaining these trails during the 10+ year process, and I've also been involved in advocacy and public stakeholder consultation. I believe I'm the best person to represent Cypress builders and riders at this time. I'm well connected within the MTB community and also feel I can represent advanced riders and builders of black and double black trails, as some of these members feel like their voices have not been heard as strongly as they would like. In summary, I hope to add to the diversity of voices on the board and lend my wealth of building and advocacy experience while continuing to serve as a key member of the Cypress team. Vote for Kever.
Hi, I'm Steve, and I'd like to join the board this year. My background's in business and marketing, and I've got a vision for the NSMBA to become more financially independent by generating revenue that is predictable and it can control. Think memberships and sponsorships, that kind of thing. I've already been volunteering with the staff for the past year, working on different projects. We did a raffle to give away a bike that generated $80,000 this year, and we're in the middle of a membership campaign, which is going to launch soon, and the objective is to double our memberships to 5,000 members. I've got a ton more ideas, and I think they could have a huge impact on the organization and give us a lot of stability and predictability that we can invest into the future. I hope to help you see it through if I can join the board.
Hey there, my name's Jeff Livingston. I'm applying this year to be on the board for the NSMBA. I've been filming and creating content for the last, it's got to be 20 years now. And yeah, it all started filming riding and filming friends. And yeah, I just know that it's where my passion is. And I know there's so many stories to tell. And I want to use my skills in creating content to amplify the message of the NSMBA, to get in front of the people that it matters. I've have some board experience working on the Capilano Alumni Association. I've been working with the Vancouver Board of Trade in the past, and I've been running my own video production agency for the last 10 years, just recently selling it and diving full on back in the mountain bike industry. So I figure what better way to help out and tell some stories than get on the board and raise some money and try to get more people out volunteering on the trails. So yeah, I'd love your vote to be on the board this year, to see what I can do to help out and make the North Shore even better than it already is. Thanks so much. See you on the trails.
Hello members, my name is Scott McCormick and I'm running for NSMBA board member this year. I'm currently a student at SFU studying sustainable energy engineering, and when I'm not doing that, I'm usually riding the trails as much as I possibly can. I love riding trails on the North Shore. This year I got into trail building a little bit, took the trail building course through Fraser Valley Mountain Bike Association, really enjoyed that, got in a couple trail days on the North Shore, and looking forward to some more next summer. Really just love riding the trails and want an opportunity to get involved with the board and give back to the community and make sure that mountain biking stays alive and thrives on the North Shore for years to come.
Hey folks, Jimmy here. I'll keep this brief. I am truly honored to advocate for the mountain biking community on the shore. The joy our trails bring to people deserves a deep and sincere respect, as do the efforts of those who keep our trails running. I want to keep doing my part
so others can enjoy this place as much as I do. I've got more work to do, so I hope you'll keep me around.
Hi everybody, my name's Andrew Spence. Just came back from a wet ride up here on Frome. Thankfully we finally got some moisture for the trails. Just wanted to introduce myself. I'm a lifelong Endlin Valley resident. Went to Upperland, Argyle Secondary. Grew up riding here on Frome in the 90s. And fast forward to today and I've got 3 kids active in mountain biking, skiing, hockey, and I'm at a point now in my life and my career where I'd really like to give back. Volunteered for the Nsmba back in the days, but now I'm in a position where I would really like to give back to the organization. I think I have lots to offer. My professional career has been in engineering and more recently in human resources, corporate development, strategic planning. So I think I have a lot to offer for the Nsmba, and I'm really excited about the potential for the role. So look for your support and see you at the AGM. Thanks.
Hey everyone, my name is Jared Yarmowski, and I'm hoping to be elected as a board member for the Nsmba. I've been an avid mountain biker for all of my life, and I've always had an active role in trying to get others my age motivated to come out digging and riding. Since moving to Vancouver, I've been an active volunteer at the Nsmba on volunteer trail days, and also more recently, I have refounded the UBC Bike Club and grown that community to over 70 active members ages 18 to 29. I've also represented the students at my university for 2 years on the Student Association as a department student counselor. In my professional life, I work in engineering R&D, so I'm certainly no stranger to writing funding and grant applications. I've also managed projects with a focus on inclusivity and design, so I'm experienced in the outreach necessary for fair representation of all user groups. Through the Nsmba, I hope I can continue to create this sense of community within mountain biking so that more folks can get the same enjoyment out of the sport as I do. Thanks for listening, and have a great night.
All right, folks, take your time, find a place, mark your ballots. Deanne, where are we turning them in? Registration table. Turn your ballots in at the registration table when they're completed. There are pens everywhere out there somewhere. All right, folks. Everybody quieten down a little bit. Thank you kindly. Okay, we're just going to announce the new board of directors this year, or at least the new people who were recently elected. And welcome Colin, Kat, Illyri Harris, Kevin Johnstone, Steve Leonis, and myself. Rad. And I just want to reiterate at this point in time that we're incredibly thankful for everybody who has run this year. And just as Steve Leonis demonstrated last year, this does not mean that there are no opportunities to assist. Reach out to us, and we will gladly take you up on your offer to volunteer your time and effort. Everybody has something to contribute, and we really look forward to working with you guys, even if it's not as an official director on the board. So this is the next item on the agenda, Q&A time. I see there's a microphone there. I don't know if that is supposed to get passed around or what. It can. But the floor is open for anybody who wants to discuss any particular issues or pose any questions. We'll do our best to answer them in a succinct fashion. Recall that this is not the Pink Bike Comments section, so everyone be civil and polite. We're all friends here. No looks like a session jokes. Okay. Anybody have anything that they want to ask or talk about? We were all going to be sticking around until afterward to mingle, so it doesn't have to be on the open floor.
Hello. With such a large cash surplus, how is the Nsmba intending to continue to apply and meet the requirements of the gaming grant program?
Okay, so the gaming grant is a specific amount of money that goes to a specific space. Currently, all of that spend in the past has been Seymour related, and I believe the gaming grant we've only got in the past is about $25,000. So that sits in like a separate account that is only used for specific Seymour spend, a little bit of operating that we're allowed to allocate out, and then the raffle money also falls into the gaming grant. This year we've applied for a bigger gaming grant because we have more things that we can apply it to, so we're hoping to get more money and spend it on more things. But yeah, it just kind of sits there, and we can spend it on Seymour, more or less, at this moment.
Anybody else? Be here all night.
I taught her everything she knows.
Yeah! All right, I'm not going to stand up here and look like a fool any longer. Thank you, everyone, for coming tonight. It means a great deal to all of us that we're able to assemble here in person. Grab a drink and mingle and meet your neighbors. Thanks, everyone. Wait. Oh, wait. Oh, no, wait. No, wait. There's a slide for that.
Yeah, there's a slide for that. There's one last slide. Yes, as Jimmy was saying, thank you to everybody. We also want to thank our sponsors for the AGM. The Vancouver North Shore Tourism Association not only provided a they were one of our Cedar level sponsors this year. They adopted roadside attraction. They also are helping to cover most of our costs here tonight. We also wanted to thank Kona and BC Bike Race for donating prizes. That's the other part you're missing, the prizes. So a big round of applause for our sponsors for helping us out today.
I do. Well, this is part of the meeting. Okay, it is now 9:15 by my watch. Is that right? It's 9:18. We're adjourning the meeting. Do we need a motion or are we good? Okay, Cooper moves to get the F out of here, and Steven seconds it. That's it, we're good. One last thing. If anybody's been drinking tonight, do not drive home. If your friends have been drinking, do not let them drive home. Everyone here has had a lovely evening. Do not ruin it and ruin your life potentially by getting in a car behind the wheel when you've been drinking. Have fun!